Okay, so we're moving into the feel for the different lines. Now it's going to get more complicated. So we finished the Cain and Abel story, really. When you see it's an even quicker narrative than the Adam and Eve, but it's a very famous story too. And it's sketched in about 3 lines, basically, of action. But it's a very famous story. And it's a story about vengeance, being an outcast, meeting the tribe, and for some reason it fascinates people to think of a brother killing a brother. And we're going to see the genealogies pretty soon. And I think you'll see in the genealogies that some of the writers don't like the idea that the Hebrews have a murderer in their genealogy. I mean, classical people, Hebrew and others, I guess you could say they're superstitious. They worry, they take these things seriously. I mean, I don't think you and I really believe. Maybe we do because we're so much used to it now, and it's so habitual, that if we're, let's say, Hebrew, or we're from this background, that we have a murderer in our ancestry. This is a writer's story. I don't see it has anything to do with a person or me or someone else as a descendant of these people. But I'm sure these people back in the later period worried very much about this. There was so the poet, you see, is extremely important person. He creates these stories. And then subsequent generations have no knowledge of the world. They just are born, they live for 30 years, they die. 30 maturity years, I mean. What do they know in that time? Hardly anything. What do most people know? Almost nothing. And, they don't have a very short, long spell of mature life in this world before something bad starts to happen, disease or whatever, war, floods, famine. So they accept the poet's stories as real. And that's what half the people in the world today still do. In the Middle East, for sure. They take these legends seriously. Anyway, you will see that that's a problem. So look here, Cain has a child. We don't even know what his wife's name is. The narrator is not interested in that aspect. He is only interested in Eve as the mother of all humankind, if you want to call it that. And Christianity is only interested in Mary, Mother of God, for that matter. Now we've got another Mary Magdalene running around, and that's everyone's into, but she's just another sort of version of Mary, Mother of God. Both have the same name even, but there's no one else in Christianity that's of any real importance, feminine-wise. Same with here, Eve, that's it. We don't even know the names of the other ones, so we get down to Jacob, maybe. In any event, Abraham. Cain's first child is called Enoch. And each of these people have a kind of a reputation in historical terms. And he was the first builder of towns. And therefore his town was given the name of Enoch. Well, Enoch was obviously a town that was known. Enoch had a son, Iraq. Iraq became the father of Mehujael. They're interested in genealogies. No, we don't really know much about the wives here. Mehujael became the father of Methuselah. Methuselah became the father of Lamech. This sounds like another little song, even in English. And then it stops a bit. Lamech married 2 women. And the writer has a little more information about these. The first was Ada, the second was Zillah. And Ada gave birth to Jabal. And he was the ancestor of tent dwellers and grazers, owners of livestock. Again, a two-brother situation. His brother's name was Jubal, Jabal and Jubal. And he was the ancestor of the musicians, the lyre and flute players. Is this a very scientific genealogy we're getting here? Not really. It's very helter-skelter, isn't it? A few little legends, a few women's names pop up here and there. It's just kind of like a folk memory of some things that are known from the ancient past that the storyteller is reciting. It's not complete, is it? I mean, first of all, the only women we get are this third or fourth generation. Why does he know them and no others? Because there must have been a song about them somewhere, a little poem or something. Anyway, she gave birth to Tubal-Cain. And he was the ancestor of all metalworkers. That's Zillah. So we have metalworkers, tent dwellers, musicians. And Tubal-Cain's sister was Naamah. Well, that's really interesting. What about the other sisters? Don't they anyone? I mean, it's just like, these are details that just pop out of nowhere. So I'm trying to show you the very helter-skelter, unscientific, not abstract version of this material. And I think the whole thing is from the end of it here. Lamech said to his wives, and I think this was an actual song that the writer took the material from. Adam and Zillah, hear my voice. Lamech's wives, listen to what I say. I killed a man for wounding me, a boy for striking me. 7 vengeance taken for Cain, 77 for Lamech. I'm sure that was a very old song that survived just like a Bob Dylan song would. And the writers then picked up the Cain story out of that. Well, so what? 77 for Lamech. So what? So what? Who is he? What did he do? What was his life? It's very incomplete, you see. Extremely incomplete. And this is good in a way. It's the real thing. It's the way the world really is. It's how you remember your past. But again, it's not the Word of God. It's totally human, as you see. That's the whole point. Yeah.
Is this attempting to explain how the Earth became populated?
Well, just wait.
Okay.
We'll get there. Well, so let's say what we can say about it, not what we can't.